Okay, apparently my phone has a limited storage on it, which I just realized, so the video just cut off, so I apologize for that. So let me pick up where we left off. I got about 10 minutes before I think it closes off again. So the 2x is multiplying 3x plus 4, and then the minus 1 is also going to multiply 3x plus 4. So when I distribute 6x squared plus 8x minus 3x minus 4. Combine the middle terms, 6x squared plus 5x minus 4. So what I would do is actually shut the video off and go ahead and do the same thing for these, for number 7, number 8, and then turn the video back on, see if you get the same thing. I'm going to go through the process here. So 4x times 10x minus 7, and then this is minus 3. That's a minus 3 times 10x minus 7. And then I'm going to go from there. So 40x squared minus 28x, and then this is minus 30x plus 21. So that's 40x squared. That's going to be minus 58x plus 21. That's my answer. Now if you do FOIL, which is fine, it's the same thing I'm doing, but FOIL you can do it without writing out this step like I do here. 5x times 5x is 25x squared. Then the outside is 5x times negative 2 minus 10x. The inside is 2 times 5x, which is positive 10x. 2 times negative 2 is minus 4. In this case, the two middle terms are going to cancel. Negative 10x plus 10x is 0. So you get 25x squared minus 4. So there's the first side. So let's go ahead and flip it. And this takes us on to the back. Now, I want to show you a couple of special patterns that if you recognize this, you can multiply this out without doing as much work. The first one is what we call if you take a binomial and you square it. So if you square a binomial, what you're going to get here, this right here, is what we call a perfect square trinomial. Perfect square trinomial. Let me show you how it works. I'll show you with number 9. If you square x plus 4, the way to think about it is x plus 4 times x plus 4. Okay, and now what happens, you can multiply this out. So this x, I'm going to do x times x. I'm going to do x times 4. And then I'm going to do 4 times x and 4 times 4. Notice what happens here is that the two middle terms are going to be the same. And I get x squared plus 8x plus 16. Well, since the two middle terms are the same, notice that the binomial was x plus 4. Notice that my two middle terms are 4x and 4x. So basically, if I take these two numbers, 4 and 1x, and I multiply them, I'm going to have them twice. So if I double this, I get 8x. There's my middle term. The first term is x squared, and my last term is 4 squared, which is 16. So this pattern right here, what it says is that if you square a plus b, you square the first term, which is a squared. To get the middle term, you multiply these together, and you double them. You're going to have two of those middle terms, so you'll get ab twice. That's 2ab. And then you square the last term, you get b squared. Okay, so for example, let's take number 10. X minus 5, this whole quantity, these parentheses, squared. I'm going to square the first. The middle term is going to be minus 5x twice. That's minus 10x. And then I square the last term, that's always going to be positive 25. That's it. If you don't like this, you can always do your distributive property or FOIL it. You can always do that, okay? Here, I'm going to square the first term. 2x squared is 4x to the second. The middle term is 2x times negative 3. That's negative 6x twice. So that's minus 12x. Negative 3 squared is positive 9. Okay, so this is a nice pattern. You can just look at it and you got the answer. For number 12, square the 5x, that's 25x squared. Now we're going to do 5x times 7y. We're going to do it twice. So 5 times 7 is 35xy. 35 times 2 is 70xy. And then 7y squared is 49y squared. That's it. Okay, and the last one, let's say I just want to distribute this. Okay, 10 times 10, that's 100x squared. 10 times negative 9y is negative 90xy, but I'm going to have it twice. I'm going to get the same middle term twice, and then negative 9y times negative 9y is 81y squared. So 100x squared minus 180xy plus 81y squared. The pattern is really nice, okay, but it does take some time so that you understand it, so that you can use it. You need to be able to recognize this, okay? So that's a special pattern for multiplication. Let me show you one other here. Very similar, except this time, what if I take a plus b, and instead of multiplying by a plus b, I multiply by a minus b? Well, what happens here is your middle term is going to drop out, and what it's going to give you is just two terms, and it's a subtraction. It gives you what we call a difference of two squares. This is going to be really important when we factor. You're going to look for this a lot. It comes up a lot. Difference of two squares. So for example, x plus 4 times x minus 4. Let me distribute this. Let's show you what happens. X times x is x squared. X times negative 4 is minus 4x. 4 times x is positive 4x. 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. The two middle terms, this time negative 4x plus 4x, you see what happens is they're opposites, so they add up to 0, and all you're left with is x squared minus 16. So the pattern is that a plus b times a minus b is a squared. The middle term ab's cancel, and then it's minus b squared because it's a positive b times a negative b. So here you'd have x squared minus 25. The two middle terms would be positive 5x, negative 5x. They add up to 0. This here will be 4x squared. 2 times 2, and then 3 times negative 3 is minus 9. The middle terms will cancel. This only works if you recognize this pattern. Okay, so if you don't recognize it, go ahead and distribute it out, FOIL it out. 17, 5x times 5x is 25x squared. The middle term would be negative 35xy, positive 35xy, that's 0. And then that becomes minus 49y squared. So notice it's a minus sign here between them. Last one would be 10 times 10 is 100x squared. Negative 9 times 9 is negative 81y squared. Okay, and the last two here, we'll do 19, and then if you're interested in a challenge, I'll let you do number 20. To multiply this out, this is a binomial times a trinomial. So a couple options here. You can do, this 2x would multiply all three of these terms. So 2x times 4x squared minus 10x plus 25 plus 5 times the same thing. Now you can do that, and then you add your like terms. Actually, the way I like to do this is with a box. Okay, I'm going to make this a, here's my 2x plus 5, and then here's 4x squared minus 10x plus 25. So that's how I'm going to set it up. So this is my binomial, and this is my trinomial, so I actually have 6 squares. So I'm going to fill it in, I'm going to multiply here. And I got about a minute left before my phone dies again, so let me go kind of fast here. You can check my work. 5 times 25 is 125. Okay, got to combine like terms. Now in this case, this is not always going to happen. There's my x squareds, and here's my x's. Notice that 20x squared plus negative 20x squared, that will add to 0. Negative 50x plus 50x is 0. And what I get is 8x squared, 8x to the third, excuse me, plus 125. That's my answer. Now you could do the same thing here. What I would recommend is that you make another box, but you're going to make it 3 by 3. So you're going to have 9 different squares. And if you feel up for the challenge, I'm going to stop the video here Good luck.